Welcome, everyone, to the Uncanny Valley podcast. We're embarking on an extraordinary exploration today, delving deep into hidden histories and the untold stories behind the world we thought we knew. We've got an incredible stack of sources here that promise to, well, redefine your understanding of normal and natural.
Indeed. Our materials today, they kind of peel back layers of official narratives, revealing secret organizations, clandestine operations, and encounters that really challenge our very understanding of reality.
Yeah.
Think of it as a shortcut, really, to being remarkably well-informed about the hidden currents, beneath our modern world.
You're going to examine with us a truly fascinating collection of documents. They lay bare the origins of covert governmental responses to the truly inexplicable. We're talking about the rise of shadowy groups, the unsettling truth about certain alien encounters, and, well, forces far older than humanity itself. While some of what we discuss might sound like the wildest fiction, remember, we are working exclusively from the provided source material here, just extracting the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight.
And our mission is basically to distill these complex, often disturbing narratives into clear insights, providing you with a clearer picture of the world's hidden power structures and the cosmic truths lurking just beneath the surface.
So settle in, because once you glimpse what lies in this valley, you might never look at reality the same way again. Let's unpack this incredible collection of information, beginning at the very foundations of shadow. Okay. So, to truly understand the present, we first need to rewind and look at the origins of covert operations in the United States. Our sources paint a picture of a burgeoning federal intelligence and law enforcement community, one that initially focused on domestic issues, but, well, quickly found itself facing threats far stranger than anyone imagined.
What's truly fascinating here is how the initial, seemingly conventional expansion of federal power inadvertently laid the groundwork for confronting phenomena that, frankly, defy all conventional understanding. We're talking about figures like Alan Pinkerton, whose work back in the 1800s set a precedent for a different kind of governmental reach.
Pinkerton, yeah. He's a figure many might know. But his early influence on federal intelligence is often understated, I think. During the Civil War, his agency was instrumental, famously foiling an assassination plot against Abraham Lincoln. Impressed, Lincoln then asked Pinkerton to create and run the Federal Army's intelligence service, which he called the Federal Secret Service.
Right, and this is a crucial distinction, isn't it?
Exactly. This was not the Secret Service we know today, the one created in 1865 to combat counterfeiting. Pinkerton's agency, sort of a precursor to our modern intelligence structures, was actually disbanded after 1865. But he didn't just vanish. He took his experience and his highly trained agents into his private national detective agency, basically becoming a covert operations provider for the rich and powerful, often infiltrating labor groups and organized crime. Pretty controversial stuff.
Exactly. What Pinkerton truly established was a lasting precedent, a powerful, almost extra-governmental capability for covert operations that set a chilling early standard for, shadowy influence. This capability would echo through the decades as new, stranger threats emerged. And this groundwork became even more crucial as the 20th century dawned and America's international involvement grew.
Right.
The Red Scares, perceived threats of anarchists, all that spurred the creation of the Bureau of Investigation, which would, of course, later become the FBI. However, during World War I, America's intelligence capabilities were, well, surprisingly limited. The Department of the Navy and War Department's intelligence branches, while functional, were pretty ill-equipped for truly covert operations or, say, extensive disinformation campaigns on a global scale.
Right, which really highlights the importance of truly innovative units like the Black Chamber. This is Major Herbert Yardley's brainchild, created in 1917. Essentially America's first signals intelligence and cryptography unit, a direct predecessor to today's NSA.
And incredibly effective.
Oh, absolutely. Famously intercepting Japanese diplomatic traffic during the Washington Naval Conference. This gave the U.S. a massive, almost unfair advantage in negotiations. It let policymakers know precisely what the Japanese truly wanted and what they would concede. That kind of intelligence is, well, invaluable.
Yet its very success and the potentially scandalous implications of, reading other nations' mail ultimately led to its controversial disbandment in 1929. Secretary of State Henry L. Stimson famously declared gentlemen do not read each other's mail, but really it was to cover the political fallout.
Right.
And this disbandment, however, occurred right before President Hoover's first exposure to a truly unprecedented situation, a pivotal moment where the U.S. government first truly bumped up against the unnatural.
And that pivotal moment was the Innsmouth incident, stretching from 1928 into 1929. Imagine this. A seemingly routine federal raid in February 1928. The Secret Service and Treasury Department, with none other than J. Edgar Hoover himself on site, descended on Innsmouth, Massachusetts, the official pretext, to seize suspected aliens and seditionists. Pretty standard stuff for the time.
But what they found was anything but routine. The documents describe the discovery of a pagan religion and a profoundly unsettling, curious condition among the town's population. This condition, which the sources kind of vaguely describe as a physical degeneration, hinted at something far from human. President Coolidge was apparently shown photographic evidence that left him deeply disturbed.
Wow.
Despite initial reluctance from Treasury to pursue what seemed like supernatural matters, the Office of Naval Intelligence, ONI, began translating these seized tablets. By November 1929, the translation was complete. It was called the Book of Dagon, and it revealed terrifying information about aliens under the sea.
Aliens under the sea. I mean, that's quite a jump from domestic sedition, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Absolutely. President Hoover, initially skeptical, saw this as maybe cryptography eggheads spinning fairy tales, especially after the Black Chamber scandal. He tried to dismiss it, saw it as a distraction. But the intelligence from the Book of Dagon was just too unsettling to ignore entirely. It contained detailed prophecies and biological descriptions that just defied earthly explanation. This led to his authorization for the creation of P4, a new, highly specialized intelligence service. Marine Colonel James Whelan was put at its head.
T4.
And P4's mission was chillingly specific: scour the world for similar beings. Whelan, understanding the unique nature of the threat, recruited former Project Peasley Box personnel, the guys who'd been on the Innsmouth raid and seen the bizarre stuff firsthand, along with cryptographers. This was, in essence, the first federal agency dedicated to investigating and combating the truly unnatural.
So it's clear that by the time World War II erupted, the U.S. intelligence community was already dealing with entities far beyond the conventional scope of espionage. While the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, founded in June 1942, was busy with traditional spying, staffed by civilians and military, and famously limited domestically by Hoover's influence.
Right, the so-called good old days of espionage.
Yeah, exactly. With a clear enemy. But a far darker conflict was unfolding on another front, a conflict steeped in the occult.
And that's where we get to the Karatekia. This wasn't some minor subsection of the Honorbe, Hitler's infamous archaeological branch. No. The Karatekia was Nazi Germany's secret department, created in 1939 from Sonderkommando H, specifically devoted to occult and paranormal research for the war effort. They were explicitly looking for anything that might help the Nazi cause, even if it defied human understanding. Started by collecting witch trial files, looking for ancient knowledge.
It's deeply disturbing. Their ambition sounds terrifying.
Oh, it was. From 1939 to 1945, at a secret base known as Point 103 in Neuschwabenland, deep within Antarctica's Queen Maud Land, Karatekia archaeologists and scientists unearthed something. The sources are vague, but it was for genetic engineering.
Genetic engineering.
Yeah.
Given the Nazi obsession with racial purity?
Exactly. The implications are deeply disturbing, hinting at unspeakable experiments leveraging non-human biology.
So fast forward to the end of the war, 1945. The U.S. has its own clandestine response.
It does. Our sources describe Operation Lunacy, a 3-month shoot-to-kill campaign by what was then P4, which, later became Delta Green against the Karatekia. They fought a desperate battle, not just for military victory, but to stop the Karatekia from recreating an accident that, according to captured occult texts, would have ended the world.
An accident to end the world? My God.
Yeah. This wasn't just about winning a war. It was about preventing global apocalypse by, arcane means. And even after Germany's surrender, the threat didn't vanish. Key Karatekia members like Dr. Günther Frank managed to smuggle fortunes to South America, ensuring the preservation of the occult Fourth Reich. They were later joined by Dr. Olaf Bitterich and SS Oberfuhrer Reinhard Galt, all dedicated to reviving the Reich through esoteric occult means.
So what these early chapters reveal is profound. Even before widespread UFO sightings, these nascent government bodies were already bumping into things that stretched the limits of human comprehension. It shows how the expansion of federal power, initially for conventional reasons, rapidly found itself grappling with this hidden reality of the unnatural, often with terrifying results, and usually in secret.
It lays a very unsettling groundwork, doesn't it? And it raises a critical question for us. If these encounters with aliens under the sea and Nazi occultists were happening decades ago, what kind of unnatural influences have been silently shaping our world ever since? And what did our early intelligence agencies truly learn, or perhaps More critically, what did they misinterpret from these first terrifying encounters?
So as we trace this timeline, you can see how the seeds of official secrecy were sown, not just by human concerns, but by these early, deeply disturbing encounters with the truly unnatural. And what started as a response to, well, ancient horrors would soon accelerate into something far more technologically advanced and globally encompassing with one definitive event: Roswell.
Ah, Roswell. Here's where it gets really interesting. As the unnatural moves from, let's say, fringe occultism to undeniable extraterrestrial contact, it forces the U.S. government into an impossible situation and, frankly, fundamentally alters the course of human history in secret.
So the story begins, as many know, July 1947. The 509th Bombardment Group, remarkably the only bomber group in the world armed with atomic weapons at the time, responds to a local sheriff's report. Strange wreckage on a farmer's land near Roswell, New Mexico.
Right.
Major Jesse Marcel, a respected WWII pilot and aircraft expert, was dispatched. He initially recovered debris that included this paper-thin, indestructible metal. He couldn't damage it with pliers, a sledgehammer, even a blowtorch. He even took a piece home, showed it to his young son, told him everyone would soon know an alien craft had crashed.
The initial public report was, indeed, that a flying disc had been captured, but the true discovery was far more profound and, well, horrific. Soldiers quickly found a second main crash site about 75 miles from the first. There, embedded in a dune, was a 30-foot diameter craft, its rear half kind of blown off, and then there were the bodies. 4 tiny, gray, huge-eyed, hairless figures. 3 deceased, 1 still alive.
1 alive. Incredible.
And what's particularly curious and chilling is the detail that coyotes and crows had savaged the 3 deceased bodies. It raises the unsettling question of why terrestrial scavengers would even recognize or be able to consume alien remains as food. Doesn't make sense biologically.
That is strange.
Oh.
And just as quickly as the truth emerged, it was buried.
Instantly, Marcel and his team were subjected to 2 days of intense psychological examination by members of the Central Intelligence Group, the forerunner to the CIA. When they reemerged, they were forced to deny their stories, replaced by the now infamous weather balloon cover-up.
Right, the weather balloon. Marcel's fate is particularly tragic, isn't it?
It really is. He was transferred, promoted, placed in charge of an Army special weapons project, even briefed President Truman on Soviet atomic capabilities. But decades later, diagnosed with cancer, he bravely recanted his changed story before his death, insisting he'd found an alien disc. And adding another layer to the mystery, UFO researchers in 1995 found discrepancies in his service record, suggesting someone, likely MAJESTIC, had meticulously altered his file to discredit him after the fact.
Wow. Just scrubbed from the record.
Pretty much. These events immediately prompted President Truman to authorize Operation MAJESTIC, also known as Majestic 12. Its initial mission was terrifyingly simple: analyze the wreckage and orchestrate an unprecedented cover-up, specifically to deny alien technology to foreign powers while simultaneously trying to understand it. This marked the genesis of an organization that would grow to immense, unchecked power, becoming a secret government unto itself.
MAJESTIC. Okay, so they immediately spun up 2 special studies groups, SSG-1 and SSG-2.
Correct. SSG-1 focused on biological and psychological studies, examining the single living gray. They quickly observed it was photosynthetic, absorbed light for energy, and always referred to itself as we, indicating some kind of collective consciousness. It also emitted a distinct burning cardboard smell from waste expelled through its epidermis.
Burning cardboard. Okay.
And when they tried to measure its intellect, the mathematical answers it provided were so profoundly baffling, so far beyond human comprehension, that one doctor apparently committed suicide, scrawling one of the alien equations in his own blood. These formulae shattered human physics and kept MAJESTIC scientists occupied and often terrified for years.
My God. That's intense. So what did they conclude about the Gray's origin?
Well, the theories were intensely debated within SSG-1. Were they time travelers, true aliens from a distant galaxy? Or, and this was the least well-received theory, yet unbeknownst to MAJESTIC, the correct one, were they constructed automatons.
You missed that.
Completely missed it. Based on their limited observations, they concluded the Greys possessed a psychic hive mentality, making writing and data storage obsolete for them. The Greys, MAJESTIC theorized, originated from a destroyed planet in the M51 star cluster, with others being a specific caste designed for intellectual pursuit and interstellar travel. This was the narrative MAJESTIC built, based on incomplete and misinterpreted information.
And then there was SSG-2, focused on the tech.
Right, led by the brilliant Detlev Bronk. They meticulously disassembled the craft at Wright-Patterson AFB. found it hovered about 1.5 feet off the ground, completely frictionless and utterly impervious to damage. Even a 10-megaton blast couldn't blemish a piece of its hull.
Impervious.
Yeah. It was Dr. Stephen Cordes of SSG-2 who made a crucial discovery. Sigils, specific patterns of triangles, circles, squares lining the ceiling of the craft. These sigils, he theorized, created a false bend in space-time and generated the craft's gravitational effects, allowing it to move without conventional propulsion.
Fascinating, like some kind of symbolic technology.
Exactly. Cordes even recorded a specific sequence of sigils that he believed could activate a space-time warp. His colleagues, however, suspected he was being telepathically influenced by the others, as no one else could duplicate his work or even fully comprehend his equations. But the greatest mystery remained. How did this impervious craft shatter at Roswell in the first place? SSG-2 couldn't answer it.
So how did they find out?
It wasn't until 1972 when Majestic's Project Red Light accidentally destroyed the ship in a catastrophic attempt to restart its engine. That accident, however tragic, revealed the necessary force to break the craft. It confirmed the immense power that had been at play during the crash.
Okay, now we move into, well, the darker, more unsettling period, the Accord. Our sources say the Greys eventually made direct contact with Majestic.
They did, offering incredible technology and intelligence. This included the report, a comprehensive, utterly precise breakdown of all world military forces, and the Cookbook, a treatise on human genetics, detailing everything from cloning to limb replacement.
Wow, the cookbook.
Majestic's steering committee was reportedly awestruck by these offerings, and after much internal debate and a profound sense of being outmatched, felt compelled to agree to the terms.
So this led to the Accord, an
interplanetary treaty, yes, ratified in 1981 under President Reagan. In exchange for the advanced technology and intelligence, Majestic agreed to cover up alien terrestrial activities, including abductions and experiments on U.S. citizens.
They agreed to that.
Some within Majestic saw it as an impossible force agreement. Given the Greys' impervious craft and the U.S. military's inability to stop them, they felt they had no choice. It was a Faustian bargain. Humanity's leaders sacrificing his people for a perceived technological advantage.
So what is Majestic today? What does it look like now?
Its full title is the Majestic 12 Special Studies Project of the National Security Council. It's an incredibly powerful, highly compartmentalized organization, primarily controlled by the Department of Defense. Most of its personnel don't even know the full scope of what they're protecting, or the true nature of the Accord. It's an insulated behemoth, accountable to almost no one, operating beyond presidential oversight. Truly a government unto itself.
And it's broken down into different projects, MJ1, MJ3.
Exactly. The documents detail numerous key projects. For instance, MJ1, Project Aquarius, is NSA organized. It handles logistics, finance, recruitment, often through subtle records review for next recruits and tech acquisition. Stuff like hush technologies and MKUltra-derived mind control techniques. Its director, Justin Croft, is explicitly suspected of manipulating Majestic for personal, financial, and political gain.
Corrupt even at that level.
Seems so. Then there's MJ3, Project Garnet. Security, counterintelligence, disinformation. They use MKUltra-derived selective amnesia to silence security risks. Field operatives, NRO Delta, that's a Black Ops unit within the National Reconnaissance Office, conduct burglary, bugging, blackmail, and lethal force, often without knowing the full truth themselves. Charlie Bostic, head of propaganda, ensures Majestic doesn't accidentally collect its own false info, which tells you something about the layers of deception.
Wow. And MJ4 handles communications.
Yes. Project Sigma. Its director, Dr. Randall Ringwood, also MJ2, naively believes in gray benevolence, completely unaware he's being manipulated. MJ5, Project Moondust, and MJ6, Project PL Ludo, focus on wreckage recovery. That's the BLEV FLY program and reverse engineering. LT General Eustace Bell, the MJ5 director, is one of the most vocal opponents of the Accord. He fears the Greys are predators viewing humans as raw material.
So there's internal dissent.
Oh, yes. Colonel Robert Coffey, commander of Bluey FLY, shares an irrationally violent fear and hatred of extraterrestrials, believing aliens only come to take or leave something, and what they take is often far more valuable.
And MJ7 applies the alien tech.
Project Red Light, yes, applying it to aerospace. Its director, Dr. Edward Penn, is described as psychologically dependent on Grey assistance, dreaming of FTL faster-than-light travel, totally oblivious to the Accord's global effects on humanity. MJ8, Project Dancer, develops anti-alien weapons, including Project Joshua for biochemical agents, a desperate attempt to create a defense. MJ9, Project Overview, liaises with the UN on alien matters, and MJ12, Project DL-PHI, compiles intelligence and runs simulations that consistently show a progressive encroachment of gray influence. Its director, Dr. Wayne Harrell, actively opposes the Accord based on these findings, deeply suspecting gray dishonesty and manipulation.
So the simulations show it's bad, and some leaders know it.
According to these sources, yes. And the biological research under MAJESTIC is truly horrific. Projects Catalyst, Core, and Recoil are using the Cookbook, that genetic treatise from the Greys for human cloning, limb replacement, nerve splicing, organ transplants, and even creating disease organisms tailored for specific people, chemical memory wipes, and something called brain carbons.
Brain carbons, what is that?
Essentially duplicates of human brains. Raises profound, terrifying questions about identity, consciousness. The test subjects, whose improvements are often unstable and horrifying, come from Blue AF Live recoveries and NRO Delta abductees. Astonishingly, some MAJESTIC scientists believe the Cookbook is an IQ test from the Greys, a puzzle to solve rather than a blueprint for humanity's exploitation.
That's incredibly naive, or willful ignorance.
The human cost of MAJESTIC's secrecy in the Accord is staggering. Secretary of Defense James Forrestal, a MAJESTIC member, committed suicide in 1949 after being sent for treatment, likely trying to expose things. Other personnel, like an Army Air Corps nurse at Roswell who witnessed too much, were assassinated to preserve secrecy. And MAJESTIC's autonomy grew so vast that it chose not to brief Presidents Johnson and Clinton on the Accord, maintaining its own control over these cosmic secrets, making decisions impacting all of humanity without democratic oversight.
It's an unsettling trade-off. Human lives and sovereignty for advanced technology. A classic Faustian bargain, like you said. But I can't help but wonder, was MAJESTIC's understanding of this bargain flawed from the very start? Was the cost even higher and the true nature of the aliens far more sinister than they ever grasped?
And this is exactly where the true uncanny valley emerges. The Greys, the supposed architects of this grand agreement, the benefactors of humanity's sacrifice. They themselves are not what they seem, a crucial fact MAJESTIC has entirely missed. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it suggests an even more profound level of manipulation at play, a deception within a deception. The unsettling truth behind MAJESTIC's Accord is that the Greys, they are not an independent alien race at all. They are merely biological automatons, constructed and mentally controlled by something far older, far more alien, and frankly, infinitely more terrifying. The MAJESTIC. The fungi from Yuggoth.
Okay, wait, let's unpack this because that's a monumental revelation. This means MAJESTIC, the all-powerful, secretive organization running our world's clandestine alien affairs, has been played for fools since Roswell. The Greys are just a false front, a puppet show for a deeper entity.
Precisely. The MAJESTIC are truly otherworldly. They are fungal beings with no discernible organs in the way we understand them. Instead, their specialized cells change moment to moment, adapting as needed. They are masters of cellular manipulation, meaning no two are exactly alike. They achieve flight not with wings as we know them, but using higher dimensional structures, allowing them to perceive and interact with multiple layers of reality simultaneously. Effortlessly traversing vast distances, they can survive long periods in the vacuum of deep space, incredibly resilient.
That's a profound difference from the Greys' supposed photosynthetic bodies MAJESTIC was studying. And their minds. What makes the MAJESTIC so uniquely dangerous and inscrutable?
The MAJESTIC mind is hyper-intelligent, capable of processing vast amounts of data, yet profoundly naive by human standards. To manage this immense processing power, they consistently discard irrelevant knowledge, including their own true origin. This makes them both brilliantly efficient and strangely limited in self-awareness. They truly struggle to grasp human intuition, viewing the human brain as what they call epistemically diploid.
Epistemically diploid.
Meaning, it possesses both a rational and an irrational side, a duality they find utterly alien. They are actively studying humanity to try and duplicate this uniquely human capacity themselves, seeing it as a key to a new level of understanding. They also noted humanity's potential for destruction, intensifying operations after World War II's nuclear activations, saw our potential, maybe our threat.
And their ultimate goals. Are they benevolent, malevolent, or just indifferent?
Our sources indicate they are not eager to see Earth destroyed before learning all they can from humanity. They view humanity as a fascinating, complex experiment. The MAJESTIC explicitly staged the Roswell incident to observe human reaction, a grand test to gauge our capabilities and responses to alien contact.
They staged Roswell.
That's what the material suggests. They are repeatedly working for or worshipping various cosmic entities, including Shub-Niggurath, Itlashua, and notably Nyarlathotep. Their obeisance to Nyarlathotep, however, seems pragmatic, a means of gaining sanction, knowledge, and power rather than simple devotion.
So the Grey's Majestic is making treaties with, sharing tech with, sacrificing citizens for, are just biological puppets, an elaborate false flag operation that undermines everything Majestic has assumed. What does that mean for the abductions and experiments?
It means the Greys conduct experiments on abductees, subjecting minds to bizarre stimuli, monitoring reactions, attempting to map our epistemically diploid brains. Memories are suppressed. The phenomenon of lost time associated with abductions is a direct result of Grey tampering. Critically, promising subjects are taken off-world to Yuggoth for unspeakable experiments that delve far beyond what Majestic comprehends.
Taken to Yuggoth.
And the Greys' genetic compatibility with humans a remarkable 95%, and their deliberate design to appear somewhat similar to us. That was a calculated ploy by the MyGo to make first contact go smoothly, creating an artificial familiarity that is profoundly unsettling given their true nature as constructed automatons. Their ultimate goal is to learn human intuition and to maintain a peaceful environment on Earth for their experiments, all while hiding the truth about humanity's impending destruction when the stars come right.
It seems with every revelation, the landscape just grows more labyrinthine. We started with hidden histories, now we're confronting a multi-layered reality where even our deepest secrets are puppets on another string. Majestic thinks they're dealing with advanced aliens, but those aliens are just automatons for sentient fungi trying to understand our brains. All while ancient evils and occult syndicates work in the shadows. It truly highlights that uncanny valley where nothing is quite as it seems.
Precisely. The interplay of these forces, both overt and incredibly subtle, creates a tapestry of reality far more complex and terrifying than any single government agency can fully grasp. For instance, consider the deep ones. Amphibious humanoids serving Cthulhu, they historically pursued a slow corruption of humanity, infiltrating coastal communities, interbreeding.
Right, like the Innsmouth situation seemed to hint at.
Exactly. But with the rise of the modern world, increased ocean travel, loss of isolated populations, their old tactics became ineffective. It forced them to retreat into the deep, awaiting Cthulhu's eventual rise. It shows even cosmic horror adapts, or perhaps is patient.
So even ancient threats adapt. What about other forces that aren't necessarily tied to planetary destruction or human experimentation, but still exert a profound, unseen influence?
We also have the great race of Yith. Truly fascinating, unique entities existing across human history. These beings swap minds with present-day humans to record knowledge before humanity's eventual demise. They've already seized control of a future coleopteran or beetle-like race. Their goals are inscrutable to us. They don't wish humanity direct harm, but they're utterly indifferent to our individual lives, adapting to blend seamlessly into any era. Nearly undetectable.
Mind swappers across time.
Okay.
And Shub-Niggurath.
An ancient chthonic presence on Earth, often hidden behind human fertility deities, encouraging malignant life and primal chaos. It has found new worshippers in the New Age movement, a dark irony. It can be invoked to summon its spawn, the Haiti Nigritia, for specific, often horrifying rituals.
And then there's the Fate, or the Network. This sounds less cosmic horror and more conspiracy thriller mixed with magic.
Yes, the Fate is an occult criminal syndicate based in New York, run by powerful sorcerers. Their leader, Stephen Alzes, is rumored to be an avatar of Nyarlathotep himself. He claims neutrality, yet manipulates events through his adepts, performing obscure tasks serving larger unknown goals. Club Apocalypse, for instance, managed by Robert Hubert, known as Belial, an undead servant of the elder god Galaki.
An undead servant runs a nightclub.
Apparently. It serves as a key contact point for this organization, perfectly blending the mundane criminal underworld with profound occult power and ancient unspeakable pacts.
So you have a nightclub in New York, run by an undead servant, and the owner might be an outer god. It truly paints a picture of pervasive, hidden influence touching every corner of reality. What about the more traditional looming cosmic threats? Cthulhu.
While the ancient Cthulhu cult, detailed in sources like the Thurston Papers, was all but eradicated due to the modern world's lack of isolation, tiny enclaves of devoted worshippers still survive, hidden, awaiting Cthulhu's inevitable rise. Less overtly destructive, but profoundly insidious, is the King in Yellow. This entity doesn't necessarily invade physically, but corrupts art, aesthetics, and morality, seducing trendsetters into nihilism, insanity, sociopathy, subtly reshaping human culture from within. A psychological plague.
It's astounding how deep these layers run. MAJESTIC dealing with puppets, who serve fungi, who serve outer gods. While ancient cults persist and other forces corrupt our very culture, it highlights an uncanny valley where nothing is as it seems, and the monsters are deeply woven into the fabric of our world.
Precisely. The interplay is complex and terrifying. It raises the question, who truly benefits when humanity misunderstands its reality? And what happens when the very fight against the unnatural forces you to embrace the uncanny, blurring the lines between protector and monster?
With all these profound, often hidden forces at play, there are bound to be individuals and organizations trying to push back, or at least uncover the truth. Our sources introduce us to Delta Green, a clandestine group fighting the unnatural, and other human efforts trying to grapple with these terrifying revelations.
Exactly. This section shows us the human element in this cosmic horror. From disillusioned former agents to specialized operatives, all striving to make sense of, or outright destroy, the threats from beyond. It's a testament to human resilience, even against impossible odds.
Delta Green's origins are deeply rooted in that early P4 organization we discussed, the one created after Innsmouth. After a disastrous operation in pre-invasion Cambodia, Delta Green was officially shut down in 1970. But many members, unwilling to accept this, continued investigating the unnatural unofficially, recognizing the persistent threat.
They couldn't just let it go.
No. It wasn't until 1994, following the assassination of their leader, Major General Reginald Fairfield, that the group formally reorganized into insurgency-style cells, driven underground, truly off the books.
Their operational philosophy is built on absolute secrecy, maintaining cover stories, avoiding bureaucratic footprints, operating in small, compartmentalized cells to prevent infiltration. Their primary mission is to destroy the supernatural and occult. Specifically, not to harness its powers. They've seen the consequences of that. They also aim to deny alien tech to foreign powers.
And the agents themselves, they're career federal employees.
Typically, yes. Middle to late 30s, at least 10 years on the job, drawn from agencies like the FBI, CIA, DEA, even the IRS or National Park Service. Gives them deep access without suspicion, known only by code names within their small cells.
And these aren't just your run-of-the-mill agents. The sources describe some incredible figures. Major General Reginald Fairfield, for instance, a Delta Green veteran assassinated by Majestic's Enro Delta Chief Adolf Lepus for trying to expose them. He died fighting, having prepared hell for his assassins, suggests a pre-planned, devastating defense.
Definitely. Then there's Professor Joseph Camp, one of the few surviving original OSS Delta Green members, their most valuable researcher and expert in reality-bending texts. He even used the Elder Sign ritual, an ancient protective sigil, to protect the Library of Congress.
Using magic to protect the Library of Congress. Incredible.
We also find Special Agent Matthew Carpenter, an FBI agent who's a master of cover stories and bureaucratic manipulation, capable of creating and erasing multi-agency task forces at will, making problems simply disappear from the official record. L-Team Commander James, a SEAL Team commander, obsessed with destroying Deep Ones after a mission to recover electronic espionage gear, led to a horrifying encounter. Lieutenant Colonel Emil First, an ex-Special Force SI operative, described as a compassionate warrior shaman who uses magic, specifically the Elder Sign, and wanders the earth looking for unnatural activity, a true blend of the tactical and the esoteric.
The diversity of expertise is striking and deeply unnerving in some cases. Special Agent Gene Qualls, FKI, is actually a ghoul.
Apparently maintains a human appearance via ritual, provides invaluable insight into ghoul lore and underworld conflicts, walks a perilous line between two worlds. Dr. Naja Fulani, an anthropologist, advises Delta Green on unnatural cults. Remarkably owns rare texts like Nameless Cults and the Thurston Taper's primary source material on cosmic horrors. And Special Agent Chun Tae-woo from FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, is the government's top international financial crimes expert. Provides crucial financial intelligence, hacks systems, leads tiger teams of hackers to track occult money.
Following the money, even for cosmic horror.
Got to track it somehow.
Rare.
And finally, Greg Mason, a DEA surveillance consultant, expert in surveillance and photography, develops techniques to photograph entities, is even repairing an ancient camera rumored to see beyond normal perception, capturing images of things that shouldn't exist. Delta Green's knowledge focuses primarily on Deep Ones and Greys. They strongly suspect the Greys manipulate Majestic, but their understanding of other threats, especially the MIGO and the broader cosmic pantheon, is, at best, sketchy and fragmented, leaving them constantly reacting to an enemy they only partially understand.
But Delta Green isn't the only group trying to figure things out. We also have Saucer Watch, a well-funded public UFO investigation group.
That's right. They interview abductees, seek physical evidence, maintain a professional demeanor, but famously ignore official requests to back off. They even researched the chilling Vermont abduction cases, uncovering high rates of missing persons. Cases like Mike Childers, lost 15 years, later had nightmares of buzzing alien creatures surgically removing his brain, and Janet Chappell, whose hippie commune vanished, leaving her with dreams of alien experiments. Horrifying stuff they refuse to let lie.
How does MAJESTIC view them?
As useful propaganda fodder, a convenient, easily dismissed explanation for genuine phenomena, but also as a threat due to their persistence. They've infiltrated the group with agents like Lawrence Hong, who apparently turned and now secretly helped Saucer Watch, even donating his MAJESTIC payments to them. MAJESTIC even orchestrated accusations against Dr. Denton Schaefer, Saucer Watch's psychiatrist, to discredit him and undermine their findings. Playing dirty.
Definitely. And speaking of defiance, we have Major General Reginald Fairfield's final report from 1994, his last-ditch effort.
Exactly. A desperate attempt to expose MAJESTIC and their accord with the Greys, whom he bluntly called ET fucks. He believed MAJESTIC let the aliens do whatever they like to God-fearing U.S. citizens for technology. A profound betrayal.
His dying words.
As he hit send on an encrypted digital relay to his successors in Delta Green, he accused the government of force-feeding them lies since the Roswell saucer crash. He believed a new generation, smarter and slicker and tougher, would carry on the fight. In the incident surrounding his assassination by NRO Delta Chief Adolf Lepus, 5 NRO Delta agents were killed by unknown means, their bodies unrecovered, suggesting either Fairfield's hell had indeed been prepared or other, even more unknown forces were at play, protecting his final act of defiance.
So on one side, you have monolithic, corrupted MAJESTIC, playing a dangerous game with alien puppets, sacrificing lives for illusory power. On the other, Delta Green, a fragmented, illegal network fighting things undreamed of by the rank and file of humanity. And then groups like Saucer Watch, trying to make sense of it from the outside, often manipulated themselves. It truly shows the incredibly high stakes and the many different ways humanity tries and often fails to grapple with these cosmic horrors.
And this raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? When the very fabric of reality is being torn, and the monsters aren't just mythical beasts, but our neighbors, leaders, ourselves, or even the tech we rely on, what can individuals truly do? And what happens when the fight against the unnatural itself forces you to embrace the uncanny, blurring the lines between protector and monster, sanity and madness?
What we've explored today is, well, a chilling testament to the layers of hidden knowledge, the secret wars, and the unsettling entities operating just beyond our perception. From the inception of covert agencies like Pinkertons to Innsmouth to Roswell and the insidious Accord, it's clear the world is far stranger than most are willing to believe.
The tale of Delta Green, MAJESTIC, and the MyGo-controlled Greys is a stark reminder that what seems familiar, or even benign, can harbor profound alien agendas. The line between what we accept as reality and what lurks in the shadows is thin, constantly shifting, and often deliberately obscured by those who profit from our ignorance.
And the implications are vast. What kind of world are we truly living in when our leaders make deals with beings that view us as mere study subjects, and our protectors operate in such deep secrecy they are ghosts in the machine, often manipulated by forces they don't even comprehend? It forces us to question everything.
This journey through the material reveals that evil never dies, darkness never retreats. It simply adapts, finds new cracks and crevices in our society, and sometimes wears the most unsettlingly familiar masks. The true horror isn't just the monsters, but how deeply they've become intertwined with human affairs.
So as you go about your day, maybe consider this.
Yeah.
How much of what you perceive as normal is simply a carefully constructed illusion? And what would you do if you, too, stumbled into that uncanny valley where the familiar suddenly becomes terrifyingly alien and the truth of your reality is not your own?
We leave you with that thought. The truth, as always, is out there, waiting for you to look a little closer and perhaps question a little more deeply.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the hidden truths that shape our world. This has been the Uncanny Valley Podcast.